start it now. All right. That's it. So this is on what we've been concentrating on, and this will to make us ICO ready, basically. And that will be the initial coin offering. We are now like thinking that the best time we'll know when we have the traction around it, around us. We know when to do it, and we are thinking that it's going to be late August, early September when we do it.
Is there any target that you already know about, like a good offering would be, what the outcome of that would be, or in terms of?
Yeah, we know what we need. We also need like we know like that we are like a higher caliber project than what we've seen there. We are not just another ICO. We have like a really serious technological innovation.
Absolutely.
We have a crew that can take it to a much larger audience that has been seen before. And then we have like people like Bob, Dick, Jonathan, Ben, like already, and a big group of network, like really established, serious, established people who are already backing us, who are already like ready to show their support. And this is the third thing which distinguishes us from your normal projects in the space. We have a really strong, good hand, and I would like to play it well. If you play it well, I don't think that we won't have any trouble in raising from 10 to 20 million.
I agree.
Even more. I think in the autumn we will see the first over 100 million raise.
Yeah.
It might be us.
Just for this forum, could you scope a little bit of an agenda in terms of timing
For today?
Yeah, because maybe people looking online might want to know
Sure.
roughly when to come back in to look at what bits.
Yeah, so we will start now with Gravity. We'll have the whole day, and we have like a little bit like a 1 hour and a half sessions until 5, around 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So 2, 3 or 4 sessions now here to go through the entire architecture in a way that it will make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So tonight when you call, I don't know, call your daughter or somebody else,
She'll
you
have to
can
listen.
explain. Yeah. Listen, this is what I'm doing.
Don't hang up on me. I'll almost got it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And and then just before dinner, I would like to have another session called the Dream Team. So this is I really would like to work with you, like 45 minutes, 1 hour on who are our dream team, like the people who we respect in your networks, in our networks, that we would really like to bring in, with whom we would like to go to the ICO. Like, who would they be? I think we are reaching the level of a project that there's nobody in the world that we could not approach. We are so interested.
Maybe not now, but at some point, could somebody explain to me first what an ICO is?
Sure.
And secondly, why in the beginning is the ICO? Is that something that has to occur before you do your thing, or is it
Yeah. Well,
the originary act after which we populate the world?
I knew that was going to come.
So just a quick. Let's talk about it in more detail maybe later. But yes, it's like the initial coin offering. It has different names, but it's like Ethereum did it. Many of these projects have done it. It's you basically you bootstrap yourself into existence through this. It's like a kind of a modern version of the IPO.
And in the beginning, God dropped a penny.
Yeah. So now we are.
Bent himself into existence.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Modern monetary theory on steroids.
exactly. So the team has been paid in tokens, and that's the moment that.
It's a representation of the bet we're making collectively.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's a collective bet. It's like the claim. It's the offering. The first offer we are going to make. It's like we are opening this interval or this time, like this possibility that would you like to join us?
So this is your coin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's our coin, and it's like the instrument through
And this
which.
is an alternative to raising funding. You simply issue a currency and hope someone will accept it.
Yes,
We'll
We'll
buy
buy it. We'll buy it
And thus
first.
spend yourself into existence.
It's like it's more like an
Exactly.
equity, closer to equity. But let's say it's also important. It looks like it's just a new way of raising funds, and it is that too. But it is more, and this was what we were trying to say in New York, and your book was really important for us. We really understood the offering through the gift and the ritual, and it's more. It's like a bold move to come to make to other people. It's like way of making liquid what we want to do socially, so other people can join in, but also financially, so that they can
and it's
finance
not only
this into
raising,
existence.
it's not only raising funds, but raising resources, human resources, skill
Yeah.
resources, and other resources. Like
Mm.
it's much, because it's more like money. It's more liquid, more divisible, more distributable than an equity usually is. So it can be used as a form of payment too, in regards to, for people that want to bet. And the upside is that they can participate on the upside. These tokens appreciate with time, so it is a collective stakeholding together, and basically knowing that each one of our actions are backing the value of that.
So you're basically selling collectibles for real money. I mean, for dollars.
Could be collectibles, but of course you can tie into them real effects, like for example, equity power, decision-making power. You don't have to.
It's
No,
like
you don't have to.
Ether. So Ether, for instance, they sold Ether. Ether is the what you need in order to run the smart contracts on Ethereum platform. It's kind of this access token, or it's kind of an engine for to using the technology. But think about it. Also, Ethereum, they launched. It was around, I think it was 23 cents when they launched it 3 years ago. Its value is now today $183. 3 years. The Ethereum network
What
is
distinguishes this from a scam?
The backing.
Good point.
Well, to ask the question a slightly different way, what is the surplus from which the appreciation is funded?
The technology itself.
That would be
that's-
something that would
that's-
distinguish
that
it
is
from a scam.
No,
No,
because
that's
that's
the question.
all about the sociality that's created around the token.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
there's a mesh with sociality computation, which is actually structurally new for us. And this is sort of why we talk about sort of an economic, transformation or evolution, whatever it is, movement towards a singularity, and people have different vocabularies to talk about this. But what's going on is a new medium has been dreamt up or invented, which is creates a relationship between computation and sociality, which can then be registered forever in things like blockchain, and they become permanent social structures, which are completely trustable and unforgeable. So there are many different affordances going on, but the appetite for this is that people want to relate to one another in a brand new way,
yeah.
and that's what the tokens make
Yeah,
possible.
it's essentially collective acts of valuation.
Yeah.
And then this is a question we'll process over both days, because one could argue that this is present in fiat currencies as well, and
Absolutely,
be a major
yeah.
factor. And for me, much of processing in terms of the conceptualization of backing and collateral is somewhat questionable. On the other hand, you could also think about it as a social attempt that might fail, but there is a potential argument for something being intentional in a social manner, that you back something with your act of valuation to make it more present in the world. So
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
a value argument.
Yeah.
So this is different from, say, potato head dolls,
Oh yeah,
which are just a fad, because
pet rocks.
you have a robust conception of what it would mean for people to keep on playing.
Yeah, and they're basically getting equity in a public infrastructure. This is the
But not,
piece.
but not in the issuer, necessarily.
The
No.
issuer is encoded in the infrastructure.
It's a little bit closer to making a revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, in as much as one takes
Doesn't
one's.
take much.
Well, I mean, it does. It takes a lot of organizing and a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
But in as much as one takes one's productive labor, say, out of the factory and uses that very same life energy to create some other kind of structure or organization. And so people are actually taking their productive capacity, in the form of finance, but also in the form of sociality, and embedding it in this new code. that's being created and written right now. So it really, there is sort of a value formation, productive process which backs the reality of these things.
If I just can elaborate one more, it's essentially a crowdfunding campaign that meets an IPO and they have a baby and then they make ICO, just very simple. So there are some logic that you haven't launched anything yet, and then you have some financial logic. It's like, oh, we have already products, so we IPO, and you converge that in the moment of time at the beginning. And this crypto token, because at the beginning is sort of an equity, so like a investor earlier on buys some equity and they give you the ability to create a product, and it evolves itself into more of a commodity, and then as this product are built inside the DAO, then it becomes actually a currency because it can be exchanged for the services. So there is an evolutionary aspect to it.
So it becomes an internally marketable equity, unlike a privately held company where
And
the equity is not.
And then you're paying off your customer acquisition cost through your own, instead of like purchasing finance from out and then burning it into. So there are many spheres.
Just to come back, I know this is a bit of a diversion from
No.
but just to come back to Bob's initial question, most popular conceptions of what we're doing is that this is a speculative cryptocurrency that happens to have a little activity running behind it, but most people will be buying into it hoping that it'll quadruple in value. I would really like to see on the web page a statement about what the concept of moneyness is and why this is not simply a speculative fad. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And our claim is that this is like an investment into production of new economic space. That's the
There were all these people who would issue commemorative coins that would be collectibles, and you would hope that they would go up in value because there was some artificial scarcity. And some of the appeal of Bitcoin was the idea that somehow the artificial scarcity was enforceable. This is not essentially dependent on artificial scarcity.
No, and it's not scarce. We have a dynamic, evolving issuance of it.
This is about the problem of, in some ways, it's about the problem of, on one hand, if you invest in a closely held company, you have equity, but if you don't have controlling interest, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's a discount for non-marketability in the valuation of minority shares of a privately held company. And this allows for marketability within a range which makes it easier to raise equity aside from the issue of control, and makes it less necessary for equity holders to have controlling interests in order to have marketability.
in which case the concept of equity is a misleading concept.
It's a misleading concept, but you could also say that it's
we need a new concept.
That the concept itself has been limiting for the ability of companies or ventures.
Yeah, this is actually one of the key points, and this is also something I want to return tomorrow, because it is a misleading concept. But on the other hand, I think it's impossible to find another concept at the same time to replace it, because what is happening is what we currently understand as equity, when it becomes programmable, it is so designable in and of itself that the kind of range of design that we will see in this will grow so wide that it's hard to put it under one concept.
Right.
So in a sense, with this wideness, you could say this is still equity, but it's just remarkably different what we currently now see as equity. Or you take a different kind of approach and you build a conceptual system around this issue to point out different particularities. But this is what we have to do because the area is changing into the nature of programmability.
You still need the concept of equity because my other hand is that this is also distinguished from crowdfunding, where you get nothing. Where it's a donation.
No,
And it's distinguished from crowdfunding because on the one hand, it's like equity in a company that you don't control, that isn't publicly tradable, but on the other hand, it's tradable.
No.
It is.
Actually, no, that's a very, I think, erroneous description of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is not a donation. It's an intention economy, which is also a term we're missing. because crowdfunding is